Hello, everyone. Glad that you could join us this evening. I see that people are still continuing to jump into our webinar, so we will start in just a few moments here. But my name's Ashley Hansen. I'm the Associate Vice President for Admissions and Financial Aid. And we're so glad that we can be talking with you this evening from our homes. We wish that you were able to be visiting the campus in person right now. But until that's possible, we are so glad that we can host these virtual events for our students. If you're new to having watched a presentation through this webinar feature, we try to make this as interactive as possible. So you will see that at the bottom of your screen, there is a chat feature. So if you do have a question during the presentation, you are welcome to ask it there. Or you can also use the Q&A feature if you wish to ask a private question. I will be writing down your questions throughout the presentation so that we can address those to our faculty members at the very end. I know that many of you may have questions about what's happening with this fall. And so I do just simply want you to know that we are looking and making decisions daily. Our goal and our intention is that we will be a residential in-classroom experience in the fall, unless the government intervenes. Our president and our leadership team, they are making those decisions daily and making sure that anything that we do is in the best interest of our students, which is the most important thing. But also, as we are safer at home, please make sure to check out the numerous different virtual events that we have taking place. Over the next month, we have dozens of opportunities for you to dive deeper into Carthage. All of the presentations are also recorded and will be placed on our website as well. So if you missed one, you can watch it when it is convenient for you. But I would like to turn it over to our faculty. Tonight you're here to learn more about accounting, finance, management, and marketing. Business is one of our pillar programs at Carthage. It's one of the top 3 different majors that we offer. And so we're so excited that you get to see our faculty and interact with them this evening. So to get us started, I will turn us over to Dr. Madden. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to use that chat feature.
So good evening. It's a pleasure to be here and to give the families information about Carthage and specifically the business departments. We have 4 majors across 2 departments in business, and we really work in collaboration to support our students. The accounting and finance department has the accounting and finance major, and then management and marketing is the second department where we educate the students interested in marketing and management. So we are each going to present our different majors to you. So again, put your questions in the chat feature. First, Professor Courtney Malloy is going to talk about accounting. And then next we'll have Dr. Cassie Lau talking about the finance department. And then we have Professor Greg Barron talking about marketing. And then I'll wind it up with a discussion on management. And I'll also speak to our 5th year graduate program. So put those questions in the chat box, and we look forward to hearing your questions. And we hope you enjoy our presentation. Courtney, you want to take it?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Madden. Do we see my screen correctly?
Yes, Courtney, it looks great.
Excellent, thank you. So good evening, my name is Courtney Malloy. I'm a CPA and assistant professor in the accounting and finance department. I am excited to share with you the accounting major and walk you through our curriculum and extracurricular activities with beyond the classroom, and illustrate how we prepare our students for the accounting profession and the CPA exam. So how we prepare our students to be ready for the accounting profession. We have these 3 main pillars: technical skills, interpersonal skills, and professional experience. And when you hear technical skills, this is the typical accounting class that you think of when you hear a college accounting class. We're preparing students to build their research skills in the generally accepted accounting principles known as GAAP, so accounting standards, learning how to research them and apply them to a company. We also teach students how to record transactions and prepare financial statements. Moving on to interpersonal skills, which is just as important. We teach students how to communicate effectively in written and oral communication, as well as presentation skills and eye contact, handshake, and interview skills, resume writing, all those interpersonal skills that are important for landing professional experience. And professional experience provides students the opportunity at the undergraduate level to explore various career options in public accounting, corporate accounting, and government or non-for-profit accounting areas. So let's take a deep dive into the technical outcomes. We're preparing students to master the knowledge that's required for the certified public accounting exam and for the profession. So students will learn a brief overview of accounting standards and terms in financial accounting, and they build on those skills in the intermediate and advanced level accounting courses. We also have cost and audit as core accounting courses, and then we offer accounting electives in business tax, accounting information systems, and government and non-for-profit. And you see 2 of those courses have an asterisk next to them, and that just notes that these are unique to Carthage. They're offered to students at the undergraduate level. So as other organizations or colleges offering an accounting program, these are most likely electives only offered at the graduate level. So that's unique to Carthage. We also offer experiential learning through cases and develop analytical skills, reasoning and research skills, as well as computer competency. Students will utilize professional applications to complete their research studies and develop analytical computer competency skills. And here's a list of some of the programs that are used in our courses. We have ACL Analytics, which is used in the auditing course. QuickBooks and Microsoft Access, as well as Microsoft Excel, are used across all of our courses. We have a couple of tax programs that are used in class, as well as in the VITA program, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. And then we have some of the research or standard setting bodies that offer the Governmental Accounting Standards Board and the Financial Accounting Standards Board, which offer the codification, which is just a housing for our GAAP rules or accounting standards that we must follow. In developing our soft skills, students will lead and work in teams. They're often broken down into groups and work together to solve problems in class, as well as present their findings to the class. They deliver persuasive presentations using PowerPoint and other research tools. We write case analysis and research papers. Many times, I think some students or other faculty don't realize how much writing and communication is involved in the accounting program and the accounting profession. It's not all about number crunching, but being able to share your findings and communicate them to a board or an audit group. We recognize and include ethical case work in all of our courses. And the faculty work very closely with students to develop their credentials on their resume and ensure that they're ready to enter a competitive job market. Beyond the classroom, related to the accounting major, we offer the Carthage Accounting Association, which is a student-run organization that brings in public speakers and guest speakers for public accounting firms, as well as corporate companies that share information about their corporation or firm with students, to share internship opportunities, full-time opportunities, as well as professional development. We also offer VITA, which stands for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Programs, which students are across campus, you don't have to be an accounting major, are allowed to enroll and provide assistance in preparing income tax returns to the Kenosha and Racine communities. And the most important is internships. So we work closely with students to connect students with employers to gain that professional experience, which is so important in order to explore the career in accounting and determine what kind of path that students may want to take when they graduate. So this is a handful of corporations and public accounting firms. When you hear of a public accounting firm, it's a company that provides services to clients. So tax services, audit service, as well as advisory services. So it's a company that's service oriented. And then we have corporations, which if a student were to intern or land a full-time job at a corporation like Jockey, they're preparing the financial statements for that specific company. On the next slide, you'll notice that many of the same companies and corporations are listed here as well, and this represents our permanent placements. Excuse me. So many times a student interning at a public accounting firm or corporation will have great experience, and it may lead to a full-time position. So that's why we see so many duplicates on this slide as well. Many accounting students may opt to take a full-time internship, and we offer internship credit for those students. So for example, students may intern during their junior year at Carthage, and they can earn up to 12 internship credits. So ultimately taking a full semester off from Carthage and interning with a corporation like a KPMG or Ernst & Young or Deloitte, and they can earn credit towards graduation while gaining that professional experience. It does take some planning involved with the faculty advisor to ensure that they can earn those credits as well as keep on track for graduation within 4 years. Next, I want to mention the CPA exam. That's the gold standard in the accounting profession, and we encourage all students to pursue a certification exam, whether it be the CPA or the CMA, which stands for Certified Management Accountant. And these certification exams or licenses will provide students many opportunities down the road. So at Carthage, we offer within 4 years, students may earn the 150 credit hours, which are required to sit for the CPA exam. The exam is made up of 4 parts, and in order to be eligible to sit for the exam, the 150 credit hours must be met. So how we allow students to meet that requirement at Carthage is we have 4 credit courses, and students take at least 4 courses each semester. Plus we have 4 J-term semesters, and that will get us to 146. The additional 4 credits can be earned over 1 credit classes or 2 credit classes, or many students have AP credits coming into Carthage. So meeting that 150 credit hours is doable. It takes some planning and communication with our faculty advisors. On the next slide is my contact info. I am happy to answer any questions through the chat at the end of this webinar. If you have questions that you'd like to reach out to me directly, either by email or phone, feel free to take a picture, or I can put the slide up again at the end. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have on the accounting major. At this time, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Cassie Lau, to speak to the finance major.
Hi, thank you very much, Courtney, and welcome everyone. I am, as Courtney just said, Cassie Lau, and I teach finance. And now I am going to share my screen.
Okay. I'll turn it back over to Cassie.
Thank you. You can all hear me? Well, like, hopefully. All right, so I teach finance here. This is my 8th year, and the finance faculty, we combine theory and practice. So we all have advanced degrees and industry experience, which I think does set us apart from a lot of our competition. And our experience is in a whole array of financial firms and positions, so we can give students real-world perspective. I think but probably one of the most important things that I'd like to say is that we're really here to help our students. So we're dedicated to guiding students to whatever their vocation is. So the fact that, like Professor Malloy and I work really closely together. So we realize when students start, and I also work closely with Dr. Madden and Professor Barron. So we realize when students start in our program, they might not know exactly where they want to be, and we all work together to help them find their vocations. So the curriculum for finance is not very different from what you'd see at other schools. I don't think you'd want it. I mean, finance is a serious subject. We want people to pretty much follow one path. But as Professor Malloy said, for a small school, we do have quite a few electives. So besides the core courses where we do corporate finance and fixed income, And then as you can see at the bottom, we've been adding more analytical based classes because we realize that's really important in the world. I mean, it's always been important, but especially now, businesses are looking for people to have really good analytical skills. Then on the elective side, we do some personal financial planning, which is good for all students to have for themselves, but there are also a lot of jobs as personal financial planners. And we've added a course in real estate, and we also do some course in derivatives. And the course in derivatives actually is also good for our accounting majors, because when they go into public accounting, if they can do some derivative work, it really gives them a leg up. So, and also similar, I think, to what Professor Malloy said, we have a three-pronged approach. Maybe that's sort of part of life. We like to do things in threes, but we start with the theory and the history of finance and whatever part of finance we're studying, and then we go into case studies. And we're very careful not to be like, some of you may remember when you were in college or wherever, the professors would come out with these yellowed pieces of paper. We are doing current case studies. And then the second prong, we collect data and analyze it, and analyze and overanalyze. I like to quote Mike Bloomberg, who I guess everyone's probably heard of, actually tried to run for president, but he used to say, "In God we trust, everyone else bring me data." And we really believe that in finance. So data collection and analysis is really important in our program. And then as Courtney just said, once we do conclusions, our students learn how to present. Because whatever they're doing, whether in small groups or in larger groups, they're going to have to make presentations. So we teach them how to do written presentations, we teach them how to present orally, and we have them practice. All right, and another thing though I really want to touch on tonight is that we've been responsive and adaptive, right? Because the world has been changing really rapidly and in some scary ways over the past few weeks. So we decided we're not going to just ignore that. So I'm incorporating current situations into my classes, where every day we start examining market moves and why did the market move that way. And then we're also looking, right, everyone knows what's going to happen next, and the government is stepping in. The government is stepping in both on the fiscal side with stimulus and also on the monetary side. They're putting a lot of liquidity into the market. What does this mean? How will it affect their future? So we've been talking through that. And besides just talking about it in class, we've been bringing in industry and academic experts. And sort of luckily, usually it's hard to get a hold of some of the top people in the field. And we always have a good number of people coming in, but this time all I have to do is send one email, and usually I have to schedule in advance. And actually we had this economist and he wanted to come like 2 days later. And I had to say, well, I actually have someone else lined up for this week. But we were able, but this economist who was going to talk about inflation is coming in this Thursday to talk to our class. And then my last point here is that I think we are always compassionate. We always care about our students, but we're making sure that that message gets out now. Because some students have concerns, have special situations. We want them to know we're here, we're available. And so I think we've all been working probably extra hours, and really through Zoom and other technology, we can talk for our students. We did advising one-on-one, face-to-face, and it worked really nicely. And as Courtney said, we also do experiential learning. We have internships, and nice thing is that I had 2 students who were doing internships for credit whose internships halted. But we assured them you're still going to get credits, but they started writing papers. But both of those internships restarted this week. And then we have another student who has a summer internship, and he told me that so his internship may be online, but he's still going to get paid, and it may only be for 8 weeks, but he's going to get paid for 10 weeks. So I think we're really having a lot of good success with our internship program. The employers out there value us and value our students. So even in these times, they're reaching out to us. We do some challenges. So we go up against other schools, because a lot of times we can get comfortable here in our own little environments, but we want students to see what it's like when they compete against their peers. So we do the CFA Research Challenge, where they analyze a company We've been doing the Fed Challenge for about 5 years now, where we actually go down to the Fed in Chicago and present in front of a panel of judges. We have a trading firm, Practicum, where we work with an industry leader in Chicago, and they actually give our students a problem to work on and try to solve throughout the semester. Right, we also have mock trial, which is run by our attorney on staff. In Velocity, we have our own consulting group. And then besides all these groups, we also have other practitioners that come in to do lectures or on panels. So top skills for finance professionals are not that very different probably from accounting. They need to be doing, and probably for marketing, management, a lot of things in life. People have to be problem solvers. They have to be able to think analytically, and they have to be able to think critically. And that probably takes a little bit more, because I think in high school, students really sort of take what their teachers are saying at face value. Here at the next level, college level, you have to think critically. What does that really mean? What will the outcome be? And then we do really encourage and push self-direction. We know when they get out in the working world, whoever they're working for doesn't want them to be coming over every 5 minutes and asking questions, so we help them figure out how to go to the next step on their own. You have to be comfortable with change in finance. That's what we're really emphasizing right now. Things are changing, let's look at it, let's not back away. Computer and math skills are important, and again, in all the fields here, oral and written communication are going to be key. That's really what sets our majors apart. All right, so these next slides are just show some of the things our students have done in their projects, just to see that they really are getting on hands-on experience. They're making charts and graphs that professionals out in the world would also make. All right, and this is Potbelly, with students compared Potbelly to Panero. And I definitely encourage our students to pick a local company, because maybe they'll get a job there at some point, but at least it makes it more relevant that it's a company right now backyard. Right? Now, obviously right now we're not doing on-site visits, but they usually are part of our curriculum, and students, it's good for all of us to get out, again, to get out of the classroom and go into workplaces. So these two of our students at the Federal Reserve Bank, that's actually, they were down there. So we don't dress like that when we go to compete, but these students happen to be down there on a Saturday and they sent me a picture. So I've added that to my slide. And we've also gone to visit the stock exchange. International engagement. So I guess I can sound a little repetitive right now. Nobody's abroad, but we really hope this to come back. And this is one of our big strengths here, is that we have these short-term, J-term trips with students. And I think all of us have taken students on some of these J-term trips, and they're very rewarding. And this one is some pictures from London. This one is actually from Hong Kong, which we did probably 5 or 6 years ago. And we studied both the economy of Hong Kong, the culture of Hong Kong, and then we also did some fun things in Hong Kong. All right, so cutting to the chase. So positions in finance. Finance is a really, really varied field. So these are just some of the things that students get jobs doing, or people can do. I mean, you can be a financial analyst, you can be an investment advisor, and you can do investments on the personal level. You can do them for a small corporation. You can do them for one of the big houses. We do have a student who has an internship at Bard up in Milwaukee right now. Banking, there are jobs in banking, commercial and consumer banks. Controllers, all companies need a controller, so it's a good place to be with either an accounting or finance degree. We also have students who have gone on to be traders, and that's with a D, not an IT. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. We have bond salespersons. Obviously, that's going to combine what Greg teaches in marketing with knowledge of financial markets. Then we have investor relation managers, and again, that definitely combines management and marketing with finance and accounting, because to be an investor relation manager, you have to be talking to people outside. You have to be talking to the shareholders of companies. So you really need to know basically all 4 of our disciplines. And then I guess the top right is to end up to be a CFO or a CEO. And then this last number is I just got from Forbes this week. So starting salary was somewhere in this 57,300 range. And I think, thank you for listening. And I will also be available for questions. I guess you know how to type them in. And at this point, I will turn things over to Professor Gregory Barron.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Barron. Thank you, Cassie, for the intro. And it's my pleasure tonight to talk to you about our marketing department. So let's get right into it. Our mission in the business group within marketing is to make sure that Carthage College is recognized as a regional center of excellence for developing the best prepared marketing students in the Midwest. And our marketing team has an incredible level of experience, industry experience. I joined Carthage 3 years ago after an international career. Most of my career was spent outside of the United States, in Canada, in Europe, in Africa, and the Near East. And our team is focused on this READY principle that you see here, real world education and doing it. We're very hands-on, so we want strong academics, but we want real world projects. We want students to have real world tools. We want them in their business extracurriculars to be very focused. And as Cassie and Courtney were talking about, really working with them to have internships. So the skill set that we're looking for in marketing, no surprise after we've heard from Courtney and Cassie, is we want outstanding communicators who have creative skills, they're analytical, they're problem solvers, they're looking for opportunity, they have great leadership skills, they know how to collaborate, and they know how to work in teams. So that's a little overview, and let's get into a little bit of the detail here. Within the marketing degree, there are 11 mandatory classes, and you can see them here. Micro and macroeconomics, accounting, principles of management, personal selling, business to business marketing. You can see the entire list here. And as students have progressed through the marketing degree, they will take 3 electives. This list varies over time, and we try to keep the subject material really up to date with what's innovative within the marketing skill set. And here are a number of courses that are available at this time that students are selecting their electives from. So the outcomes from the marketing degree, we really want students when they graduate with their marketing degree to hit the ground running. We want them to know how to create business value so that they can join an organization and they know how to develop a marketing plan. Here are some of the specific outcomes beneath that heavy duty level that we're looking at here in terms of really driving success for students as they enter the workforce. As students move into their 4th year, they have a capstone course, and this is a business to business marketing course where half of the semester they work on developing a strategy for a product that exists that they research. They go through all the strategic plans for the first half of the semester, and then they actually present their strategy in a Shark Tank situation. I'm sure many people know the premise of Shark Tank. So there are executives who come into Carthage and the students present their strategy and they get a lot of feedback. And for the back half of the semester, they develop a full-blown marketing execution plan, which is really quite amazing. Here's a sample of some of the material that these students put together as they develop their marketing plan. As Cassie was mentioning, we have high amount of international engagement. There's a globalization thrust throughout all our courses. There are many classes that go by where students aren't connecting with someone internationally, or there's an international component to a case that we're reviewing. I want to focus on some of the international opportunities. Cassie was mentioning just briefly the J-term programs that we have at Carthage. And I hope you're aware of the fact that we have a full fall semester and a spring semester. And then in January and in the summer, we have the opportunity for students to take a deep dive, a full course in a matter of just over 4 weeks. 16 or 17 months ago, I led with a colleague a trip to London to study Brexit. We had a phenomenal learning experience. Some of the highlights in the photos you see here towards the top and the middle, you might recognize some of these images from Oxford University. We went to Oxford, and the students were quite enthralled with running around and actually looking at the shooting scenes from the Harry Potter movie. At the top right, this is a photo from the London Stock Exchange. Our class took a course at the London Stock Exchange on foreign markets. That was really interesting. This past January, so just 5 months ago, Dr. Madden, who you'll see again in a second, and I conducted a sports management J-term class. So this was a really amazing experience for our students. We had freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors on board. The whole principle here was to study business through the lens of sports. And we were busy throughout the Midwest visiting all the major sports teams in the region. And we were also in class and had a number of executives come to class. This was a very, very stimulating experience for all of us. And we concluded at the end that our students met 73 executives in the sports industry, ranging from mid-level executives to owners, managers, and board members. So that was the January term. Also in January, our department took a tour to Sweden and visited with a number of businesses in Sweden. This tour will run again this January. The following July, so a year from this summer, Dr. Madden and I will be taking a group to Tokyo to study the Olympic Games from a business perspective. And we have a partnership with a school in Tokyo that we'll be doing some collaborative learning on. So that gives you a flavor for the international aspects of our program. Our students are engaged in all kinds of professional associations. Cassie mentioned Velocity Consulting. This is a student-led organization, the first of its kind in the US. It has become the model for a number of programs. I'm particularly proud of PSC, Pi Sigma Epsilon. I'm the faculty sponsor of this organization. This is a business and marketing management fraternity. And our group found out about 10 days ago that they award second prize of all the chapters in the US, just behind Michigan State University. So we're very proud of that group. As Courtney and Cassie were mentioning, there is not a day that goes by where faculty members are not having, we always have all kinds of guests coming in to speak to our students. What can you do with a marketing degree? I've had a wonderful career, never felt that I ever had a dull moment. These are the type of jobs that are available to our marketers. They go in as marketing specialists, product managers, account executives, working across a number of industries, you know, on the agency side, on the client side. So there are tremendous opportunities for our students as they go out into the workforce. We're working very, very hard right now with our graduating class, given the current economic situation, and pulling out the stops when it comes to our network and helping them connect into the workforce at this point. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Jennifer Madden, who will talk about management.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So thank you for your attention, and I'm going to bring us home with the final major in the business department. So again, accounting and finance are housed in one department, and management and marketing are housed in the second department. When we think about management, we really try to educate our students so that they have an understanding of all of the functional areas of business. So we expose them to courses in marketing, courses in finance and accounting, human resources, and operations. And in this way, they become really well-rounded managers and are able to enter into the workforce with exposure and skills so that they really hit the ground running. When we look at the management major, you'll see lots of crossover with marketing classes, and many of our students double major with management and marketing. Often our students will double major with accounting and management, or accounting and marketing. We have all of these options available for the students because several of our classes are common, within the business division, because it's important for all of our students to be exposed to all of these components. And if they want to take a deep dive and become accounting majors or finance majors, that's incredible. But if they want to be a management major, we still expose them to accounting and finance and economics. And they also have an opportunity in their schedules to do our general education, where they get exposed to the liberal arts, but they also can take a deep dive in all of the other electives that the major offers. So similar to marketing, we have foundational classes as well as classes that are mandatory in functional areas, and a series of electives that the students get to tap into. And I have also led J-term courses to Senegal and to South Africa. So we really do try to expose students to incredible experiences where they're guided through and they can really make these connections and really bridge this idea of what they learned in their textbooks and then see how it really happens in the real world. Because if we can create these experiences for the students, that's when they can really remember the educational experience. That's when the educational experience really comes to life. And we want our students to cross that graduation stage and be able to enter into the workforce or enter into a graduate program ready. So when we think about the outcomes when it comes to the management major, it's really across a couple of different areas. Primarily business knowledge, because that's what we're here to kind of give them, this foundational core on the different functions of business, understanding project management, really communication skills, the ability to speak publicly, to have effective presentation skills, and to lead and motivate individuals and teams, to lead virtual and in-person groups. We're really leveraging their skill sets so our students are ready to enter the workforce. Also around critical thinking so that we sharpen their decision-making. In addition, we're thinking really strategically about what additional skill sets might our students need. And data analysis has really risen to the top. So we've been very intentional about how do we expose our students to important technologies and important data analysis so that they can, again, be very competitive in their space and be very ready and prepared for the work that is in front of them. So, they are exposed to data. They have to do some data visualization. They have to understand statistics and do some statistical analysis. And they're exposed to different software and programs that they would use in the workforce. So Excel certification is a powerful credential that the students will be able to secure while they're in school, and then use that tool to demonstrate competency when they're in the workplace. SPSS, also Esri, and some exposure to Microsoft Project. We're really constantly thinking about how we can make sure that our students are sharp. So even right now during the current pandemic, we've been thinking about, exposing the students to creating e-portfolios. So we've been working with creating a model for e-portfolios. So now students can even be competitive when they're doing their, Zoom interviews, or they need to present themselves digitally or virtually in a way that they can also compete. And again, in the management space, our course projects, we deliver high quality materials so that students know that this isn't student work, this is professional work, and they can seamlessly step out of the classroom and into the workplace ready to deliver. And our senior projects and our senior theses are extremely high quality. We make them very practical because we want them to gain some insight. So as they enter into an interview or enter into the workforce, they're really knowledgeable and able to speak to an experience that will be impressive to whomever they happen to be interviewing with. And they can just lean into the work that they've been doing over their time at Carthage and really leverage an opportunity that's in front of them. And so the typical jobs for a management major, really lots of analysts, financial analysts, business analysts, forecasting analysts, supply chain analysts, data analysts, management, project management, recruiter, lots of training. There's lots of nonprofit management opportunities also available for management majors. And so really that really ties up our management piece. And even if students aren't thinking of majoring in one of the 4 areas, we also have a series of courses where students can even minor in business administration, where they can take several courses across the business disciplines and still secure a minor. So some exposure to business, because that's always really great to put into your toolbox. And for my last little bit of time, I'd like to just speak to what we've been working on in this idea of a 5th-year master's degree for students interested in staying an additional year at Carthage and then completing a master's of science. And right now we have 2 tracks. The first is design and innovation that we launched in 2017, that we currently have our 3rd cohort in the process. And we are launching our inaugural cohort of our sports management in the fall. So to speak quickly about the business design and innovation, it's really about cultivating the emotional intelligence, design thinking, and the ability for students to lead and manage high-performing teams. And the way that the business design and innovation program is developed, there are these fall core courses around business metrics and innovative leadership and financial analysis and strategic market analysis. And then in the springtime, more design courses, design, innovation, and sustainability, disruptive innovation, change management, and also exposure through this internship where the students work with an international startup out of Barcelona. So they work remotely and they deliver a series of marketing deliverables for the team. And so when the students go to interview, they can talk about their international client and working across time zones, across languages, working virtually, and it's really incredibly competitive when they present this information. And then the courses are supplemented with a series of incredible workshops so that the students are able to really have rapid real-life application of the skills that they learn in the classroom. So design thinking and teaming, economics, creativity crash course, hacking and designing, because designing and hacking are like siblings, and understanding design thinking and understand hacking is a powerful skill set for students to have. And our students have been getting incredible placements that have gone through this 5th-year Masters of Science program. And so in the fall, we are going to launch the sports management track. And it's really around building innovative thinking around sports. We're really teaching management through the lens of sports. We realize that if we can ignite students to their passion. And so many students are so excited about sports, and we can teach so much business information through this sports lens, and it has like an authentic connection to the students, and they're incredibly excited about the material. We feel like we have a really powerful way to ignite the potential of our students by delivering this business knowledge through this sports lens. And we tested that in our J-Term sports management course, because we wanted to see if we were going to develop this master's track in sports management that we knew would attract students. You know, Professor Barron and I, we really wanted to make sure of a couple of things. One, that we could find the placements either in employment or internships, and we wanted to make the connections with the teams, because what people co-create, they sustain. And if we could build this master's track with the teams, then when we pick up the phone and say we have students who need positions or internships, there's a stronger, you know, connection with the teams. And so the sports management has a core course: sales, econ, management, esports, and then there's a J-Term experience as well, where they do a sales lab. And then their capstone is also in Barcelona, where they work with one of the teams. Now, as you can see, we've been really mindful. The way that we want our students to have distinction in the sports management is that we're really building their design thinking and emotional intelligence. And that is a unique play to Carthage for delivering sports management. So the design and innovation and the sports management grad students have a common core, and then they have these specialized courses in each of the tracks. And we've been moving really intentionally, building expertise for delivering a sports management. We've done these spotlights on sports. We've had a focus on hockey and a focus on basketball. In the fall, we'll do a focus on the Olympics. And in the spring, we'll do a focus on esports. So we've been really intentional about the work. So again, on the grad tracks, that's Professor Barron and I across management and marketing. And that brings our management and graduate tracks presentation to a conclusion.
Thank you, all of you. I will have all of our professors here come back onto the screens, and that way you can see their faces as you're answering and asking questions. But one question, Dr. Madden, specifically for you: how many students have done the 5th year master's program?
So for the business design and innovation, we've typically had between 12 and 20. And for the sports management, we think between 15 and 25.
Excellent. Another question we had: can I do a double major within the business programs?
Absolutely. We have all versions of double majors: management, marketing, management, finance, management, accounting, accounting, finance, marketing, everything that you could imagine.
I'll just add to that the faculty work closely together, and it's also up to the student to make sure that they're communicating their interests in various majors, and then working with faculty advisors to make sure that they're planning their 4-year templates so that they can satisfy all of the general education requirements and their core curriculum major requirements. So we do a great job working as a team to ensure that the students meet the required coursework, but it's also up to the student to make sure that they're checking their degree audit, is what we call it. It's just a checklist to make sure that they're on track to graduate.
Jessica's trying to start a fight on the panel, because I'm going to say that my J-Term was the most enlightening and has the highest educational experience, but I might get some competition here.
Okay, so yeah, my favorite J-Term, I have to say, I lived in London for a number of years. So taking a group of students to London, I actually stole, Cassie had done the course the year before. That was really interesting. But my favorite J-Term from a student learning perspective, I have to take Jennifer on, and she was with me. taking students through the sports industry, and they had an opportunity that they would never ever be able to curate on their own with the exposure that they had. But what will be the best J-term ever in the history of Carthage is bound to be our Olympic J-term study tour next year. I think the Olympics delayed a year. It'll be the most exciting global event in a very, very long time. And I'm sure that will be the best J-term ever. So
well,
maybe
I have to chime in
you.
because when we went to Hong Kong, I think the students really got an international experience, and we actually had meetings with companies that we work with right here in Kenosha who met with our students in Hong Kong. So I'm sort of kidding. I think they were all great, and it really depends on the students. But the experience was really deep, I think, across all of the trips.
I know. I was in Senegal. My students met with the former prime minister. I'm in South Africa. We're meeting with the former mayor. We're meeting with the current mayor of Johannesburg. I don't know. I think I'm winning.
Can I just say one thing? That the Tokyo Olympics, the head of the Olympic bid committee leading that for Tokyo is a Carthage graduate, the head founder of Mizuno Sports. So that is sure to be a really big time moment for our students to participate at that level.
Yeah. So if I can actually, so there's another question about internships interfering with extracurricular activities. So they don't have to and they won't, but I mean, there's a balancing act, right? So it depends where the internships are and what extracurricular activities. But definitely, like for students who are on sports teams, we generally try so they have an internship when their team is not in season. But other than that, a lot of our extracurricular activities, I'm always surprised the students are meeting at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and internships are done by then. So I've had students on different councils, lots of different clubs who have also had internships.
And the sports management, we currently do not have an undergraduate degree in sports management. We just have right now the sports management J-term for undergrads, and then the sports management master's track for graduate students. But who's to know what's to happen in the future?
And then the next question about the language, sorry, was anyone else jumping? I'm just trying the question.
I'll just chime in there, Cassie, about one more thing about internships.
Oh, sure.
Internships look different for each student. So as I mentioned in the accounting major slides, we have opportunities for students to earn internship credits for up to 12 credits. That doesn't mean the internship can only be a full-time position. So many students seek internships that are only 2 credits or 4 credits or just for the experience, and they still enroll in 4 classes on campus. And so internships look different for every student, and there's opportunity to just get the experience or to get the experience and earn internship credit.
So as far as minoring in a language, I think we all encourage minoring in languages, and I don't think, well, I mean, like ancient Greek, probably not, but Spanish, German, Japanese really help out.
Chinese, ni hao.
All right, see?
So one question that we had asked privately is, how soon can I start my internships?
It varies, but I think we have had some people second semester freshmen. That's rare, but this person, I think for some reason they knew someone. But so it really varies across. I'd say more of them happen in junior year, but they don't have to be juniors to do it.
And the reason of the junior year is that you're really discovering, who you are. And if students are starting sooner, they're really thinking about it as like a job tryout. It's really a great opportunity to see, is this the pathway? Should you be a management major, or really should you be a marketing major? I mean, you will know if you should be an accounting major probably earlier. But
well, I think that we have had people who've tried accounting and they don't like it, and vice versa. So, that's a good wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So please keep those questions coming, and we will be available for about 5 more minutes to answer any questions. Cassie, one question a student asked privately in the chat is, what is your background within the finance industry?
Nice question.
Oh, how long?
Cassie's pretty awesome. Dr. Lau's pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you very much. So I started actually in commercial banking in what was the 4th largest bank in the US in New York a long time ago. So I definitely, and then I worked in banking, in finance for quite some time, but in different roles. I actually did some back office work, which was a good start. Then I was doing commercial lending, and I did several years in securitization, which if you watch Big Short, that seems like an evil thing, but it doesn't have to be. I worked for an insurance company, and we did a financial insurance. So that, I guess that's sort of, I think, yeah, so it was basically banking. Oh, I worked for the rating agencies, rating transactions. So you basically start deciding whether transactions, I didn't rate companies, I rated deals, but whether deals are AAA, triple B, et cetera, the credit quality.
And yes, you can study abroad your freshman year.
Yeah, absolutely. What can everyone do a short background? Jessica just asked if everyone can give a short background of themselves, or a long background if you want to.
Sure. We'll go in order here. So again, Courtney Malloy, and my experience upon graduating with my master's in accounting from Marquette University, I went into public accounting. I actually completed an internship at KPMG in New York City. Actually, I'm from the Long Island area of New York. And upon completing that internship, I learned I really want to set down some roots in the Midwest. So I'm lucky enough to find Carthage to be a home after a few years of experience in public accounting. I worked auditing GE Healthcare and Jimmy John's out of the Milwaukee office at KPMG.
All right, so I think I just gave a little bit, but I started in banking, and luckily the bank paid for me to get my MBA in finance. And then, so then I kept moving along in different sort of areas in banking. And then I did work for, so I worked for a French bank for several years. And then I worked for the rating agencies, rating transactions, and then I did financial guarantee insurance, which is specialized type of insurance. And then I was doing a little bit of consulting. And then so then I went back to school again and got my PhD. Not that long ago. Well, I guess over 8 years ago, and now I've been here.
I can jump in next. I started actually teaching at a university in Canada many years ago. Wanted to go out into industry, work with a big company. Many people will know Procter & Gamble. Went from Procter & Gamble to one of the most amazing privately held companies in the world, SC Johnson. Started there in Canada and then kind of moved all over the place, running divisions, running geographies, running new products teams, doing merger and acquisition work, and then wanted to return to teaching. And I do a lot of board work now in the nonprofit sector.
And let's see, just a educational background, my undergraduate pathway was in Econ and American Studies, and I hold a master's degree in nonprofit management. And then my PhD is in business from the Weatherhead School in Cleveland, Ohio. My research is around building effective collaborations, design thinking, and my work kind of background is in real estate development. I worked for a community development bank, and but before that, I ran a community-based nonprofit, Art Gallery Art Center. And then after doing the after the bank stint and doing the real estate development work, when the market crashed, I decided I needed to go back and get some different skills. So that's when I went back to get the PhD, and then came to Carthage after completing my PhD.
Yeah, I have to admit the 2008 crisis pushed me back to school too.
I tell my students now, when the going gets tough, the tough go to school.
Yeah.
So what would you say makes the business or your department specifically different or unique from any other school that they would also be considering? Why Carthage for your area?
I'll start.
It's
One,
us.
I want to say two things. One, all of our faculty are practitioners. And so it's one thing to teach from a textbook. It's another thing to be able to bring that to life based upon your work experience. And our students are invited to connect to our network. We bring in all of our teams into the classroom and our connections into the classroom so that this can be leveraged for the students. Also, our class sizes are tremendously small. We really get to know our students and advocate for our students. And you can tell when our students ask for letters of recommendation or references, the people we talk to, they know that we know our students and we know how to inspire and motivate them and like push them to be their best selves.
I want to jump in on that point. I think it's incredibly unique about across the entire business unit is everyone is so passionate. All the folks who come in, there's not another place that they would rather be. And I cannot believe how well I get to know my students and how much I enjoy learning with them. And I'll tell you one thing that's stunned me when I started working at Carthage a couple of years ago. There is as much learning going on in the hallways, in the lounges, and in our offices as in the classroom. I think that's incredibly unique.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of took the words. We love what we're doing and we really enjoy sharing it. And I think that really shows through, and we get to know our students.
We also have alumni that come back and give back to our programs. And I think that's a real strength of ours, is having alumni advocate and, include our current students when they were in their shoes, sharing their experience with them and offering opportunities to shadow and just connect them with employers.
Thank you. If there's any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. But, we have reached our hour that we promised for this evening. We know that you may have other things going on this evening, but we will stick around if you would like to have an individual conversation here with the faculty. But we thank you.
I'd like to just add, once things are back, we do invite students to come sit in on a live class. So you can get in touch with any of us, and when just high schools are off for a day or whatever, we really encourage people to come in and sit in a class. So especially if you're local.
Absolutely. We can't wait to host you back on campus when we're able to do so. But thank you again, everyone, for attending, and we will have this presentation available online tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Ashley.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.